So this is test correction for 6.4b. I can apply quantitative and qualitative reasoning using ratios. So there are two questions in this problem. So make sure that you're in the right test correction video. So if you didn't get both of them, if you got one wrong, then you should be watching this video. So make sure that you get a sheet of paper so you could do your two columns. So remember, you do need to write test corrections. Make sure you put 6.4b on the top. That way we know which test corrections you're doing. Also, on the two columns, put show work, and on the other one, you make sure you explain what you did wrong. And I'll give you hints during the video so you can know what you could have done wrong on each of the problems. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper and do the two columns, and then come back to the video. So here is the first one, number 7. Number 7 reads, Jenny and Joanne have glasses of lemonade that taste the same. If 1 teaspoon of lemon mix is added to each glass, whose glass will contain the lemonade with the stronger lemon flavor? So let's look at Jenny's and let's look at Joanne's. So if you notice, Jenny's glass is a lot less lemonade than Joanne's glass. So if they're tasting the same right now, what would happen if you put more lemon mix in it? So here are the different answers. It says Jenny, because she had less lemonade in her glass, so the added lemon flavor would be more concentrated in her drink. So it's asking which one is stronger. So the concentration on Jenny's glass would be stronger than Joanne's. That's what this is, the first one is saying. So Jenny is stronger or greater than Joanne's lemon flavor. Okay, for B, it says Joanna, because she had more lemonade in her glass, so the added lemon mix would be more concentrated in her drinks. So this one's saying Joanna is greater than Jenny. The last one says the lemon flavor would be the same. So there's no change, so they're equal. And then the letter D says the lemon flavor cannot be determined. So that's the one we're not sure of. So what we're looking at is if you put more mix, more lemon mix, obviously that lemon mix has that flavor already. So if you have less water and you put the same amount in as you did for each one of them, then the one with the least water would be more concentrated because the mix is going in there. So this one, I would say there's going to be one more extra one, so you're adding +1 tablespoon, +1 tablespoon, but the ratio of the lemon mix into each of those cups is different because there's less water on Jenny. So that means Jenny's flavoring will be more concentrated than Joanna's. So my answer should be letter A. So make sure that if you put Joanna's, make sure that is greater. Make sure that you understand that the more mix you put in and there's less water, the more the concentration your flavoring is going to be. C, they're not the same because we added more mix. And D, yes, you could determine it just looking at the color sometimes, or just seeing that the amount is less on Jenny's glass than it is on Joanne's glass. So make sure you stop the video and explain what your mistake was, and make sure that you are understanding that. If you need more explanation, make sure you ask your teacher. Okay, here's number 8. This is the same thing as qualitative with the lemon flavor, but now we're talking about paint. So Belinda makes a light shade of green paint using a 2-to-1 ratio of white paint to green paint. Melinda suggests a white paint to green paint ratio of 3-to-2, which statement is true. So now we're going to go ahead and look at it. Belinda's paint is greener than Melinda's. Melinda's paint is greener than Belinda's. Melinda's paint is the same shade of green as Belinda's, and the two shades of green cannot be compared. So we know we could compare them, just thinking about it, so we're going to cross letter D off. And then Melinda's paint is the same shade of green as Belinda's paint. Well, we got to determine if the ratios are the same. So let's go ahead and write them as a ratio. So we have white paint 2 green paint. So this is Belinda's. Belinda says it's 2 white to 1 part green. Okay, Melinda says it's going to be 3 parts white with 2 parts green. So what we need to do in order to compare them is we need to have the same amount of one of the paints. So I need to find an equivalent ratio. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just have the white paint equivalent, because that way it's going to tell me how many green paints I have, and the more green paint we have on the white paint, the more greener their paint is going to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and change them. Now 2 and 3 have a common multiple of 6. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 and 1 times 3 to give me 6 white and 3 greens. On Melinda's, my factor is going to be 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4. So if you notice, we have the same amount of white paint now, but the green paints are different. So if they were the same shade, then those ratio would be the same. So now I know C is wrong. Now I'm going to look at the 2 ratios. Well, if we have the same white ratio and Belinda's has 3 green and Melinda's has 4 green, then the one that has more green in the white is going to be the greener one. So in this case, Melinda is greener than Belinda's. So we're going to go and look at the problems again. The A says Belinda's paint is greener than Melinda's, so that's not true. Melinda's paint is greener than Belinda's, so that's the true one. So we're going to go ahead and circle that. So make sure that if you picked any other ones, you explain why you picked those and why your mistake was. But always go and look for the same amount in one of them to see what the other one's going to be. Now with the lemonade one, we couldn't do that because they didn't actually give us a ratio, but with this one we can. So make sure that you understand this, and if you got this wrong, explain your mistake. So remember, you also have an extra activity to bring your grade up, and turn this in as soon as you're done. Make sure that you have the 6.4B test corrections title, and make sure you have your name on it.